I decided that we were going to make a video today. I have a bone to pick with Holly, but I also wanted to show you a few of my inventions. The Mad Alchemist is bored. Our big shop's iced in. We can't move anything. We have limited space, and we have two projects that are going slower than molasses in 1,000 degree below zero, like it is here at Camp Klondike. Everything's a friggin' mess, and I'm cleaning it up here, and I'm doing a couple other projects. That's how you turn a propane tank. Look at that. And this is detachable. I just have this on here. It's detachable two ways. So I can take that in the weather. Because this is, for you guys that can't afford an expansion tank, they're $200-300 for just a tank, which is outrageous, and a couple of fittings. I did all this for just under $100. They're getting $4 or $5 at Lowe's for that steel pipe stuff. I already had these, but they're like $25 a pack, and then the regulator was like $40. You have to get a propane fitting and drill out this fitting here. See that critter? Okay, that just has a little pinhole when you get it for propane. So, in saying that, I think my battery's going. I may have to start my video over. Here's my next invention. You guys are going to love this. That is my all-purpose squirrel eliminator deterrent. Mr. Squirrel will lose his mind when that thing goes off. That is two diesel-like truck horns, and believe me, they're loud. You can hear them probably downtown. Now, my bone that I have to pick, let's hope we have enough battery strength to get through this, is with Holly, that sells the Predator DIABLO tuner. I set up a light here in the shop because things are getting messy in here with my tractor projects from getting ready for spring. This is the tuner I have from them. I have two tuners, and I'm not going to waste my money on an HP, and they're going to give me the same song and dance. We have that 1986 Ford Hiboy out there. I started the video last spring when we got it here, and I managed to squirrel some parts away over the winter. And we bought about $4,000 worth of Holly parts. Plus, this is $400 or $500, and that's what I'm getting into. DIABLO tune. If you want other programs, you have to go to Lou Eaton at DIABLO Tune, and I guess Lou got pinched by the EPA. He wrote me this very ignorant letter. I'm going to let you guys set this down before I go on the tripod. I don't know if you can read that. If you have to, freeze your frame in your video, because this is what I wrote. Basically, I made myself the customer in the letter to them. Okay? But he gave me this really ignorant response. We're using the Holley sniper system, which is a really good sniper system. Okay, it's a good fuel injection system. For any of you guys that know me, I am actually a flight wing engineer. These little computers, they've been used in aircraft, prop driven and stuff, probably since the mid-1970s. This stuff was starting to make its way to tune aviation engines, especially the ones that were coming out with the very primitive fuel injection did have a computer to it. And you could either turn up the lean, turn down the fuel, turn up the fuel, turn up the oxygen. There was a couple ways, and that's where I learned about this stuff. So this thing was sold to me that it has programs that can be written, and the Holley sniper system with the intake manifold that they give you with that, there's no EGR, especially with the headers that come with the kit that you buy. Some of this stuff was bought a la carte, like the intake. We wanted a different style intake. I wanted this build to look mean. So I'm going out and I'm farming out and getting these bigger and better parts, making myself broke, and then Holly shoves it up my ass. We don't do cat deletes. Well, that's what racing and that is all about. It's to use those engines, which basically the sniper systems and the crossfire systems, a lot of the other stuff, even with the stuff that Edelbrock's selling, it's all dependent upon that factory computer, and you have to alter that factory computer with one of these. We had the situation early on that I'm going to tell people that a lot of people maybe don't want to hear. But we had a 99 Silverado. I'm going to go get my beer here. It's beer 30 at the end of the day, and Holly still has not called me back. Okay, I tore the engine out, and I went to buy the computer that Holly sells because I prefer their products, and Edelbrock. They're equally good companies, and they both have customer service that answers their phones sometimes. But when you get a hold of somebody, usually they're pretty competent, or they get a hold of the right individual to talk to, like I hope what's going on now about this ignorant shit that they pulled on me. So I threw the computer away to the 99 Silverado engine and trans, relying that I'm going to get theirs, okay? Well, what happened is GM has two different transmission packages, actually three, if you count the two-wheel drive for the L60E instead of the 4L60E, which means four-wheel drive, basically, the four in front of it. So I threw the computer out, got the Holley computer, and I ran the VIN code on the truck to begin with to find out what I was dealing with, because there's such subtle differences between the two transmissions. If you're a fast-paced shop, or you get distracted like I did at the time and really didn't look at the transmission, just relied on the VIN information, the truck did not have the 4L60E in it. It had the 4L80E in it. And I'm wondering why this thing's stumbling, it's taking off, it's giving me all kinds of problems. And then for the nearly, I think it was $670 or somewhere there, that computer, and that's why you don't buy those computers off of eBay, because you don't know whether your VIN code's exactly right and what's been done to your vehicle. Because it may not be the computer. It may be a factory program written on that computer that you get, but your truck may have been altered, a different transmission. Totally different engine, since the 4.8s, the 5.3s, and the 6.0s, there's no way of really telling them a difference until you get that pan off on the bottom, what you got, and you look at the heads, or the, you know, even the heads on the 4.8 and 5.3 are almost, they're pretty much identical. You can use 4.8 heads on a 5.3s. The only thing that's different between the 4.8 and 5.3, as I explained to people, is the bottom end, the crank, and the time on the engines. You'll get more bottom end out of a 4.8, and you'll get more top end out of a 5.3 because of the difference in the stroke. So there's what we have. We have a pissing contest now, because what I'm going to do is call up Holley, or actually it's going to be Summit, because Summit sold me the majority of the stuff, and I'm going to tell them to shove this shit up their ass and give me my $4,700 back. And that's going to be it. And we'll just build the stock motor. And that thing, you can put a carbureted thing. It doesn't matter. You can cut the cats off. There's no electronics to the cats. It just has cats. It's basically a primitive 80s motor. And we're just going to build the 306 cylinder, and I'll be happy with that. But for me to invest all this money and get this kind of fucking grief from these retards and get that kind of retarded response, we're not eliminating the cats. That computer I have is the factory truck computer, and it's meant to run with the cats. But the only thing is, the system that Holley sold me doesn't come with the EGR. Am I going to buy an EGR emission system? Hell no. I like that cleaner, meaner looking under the hood, and that's what I'm looking to get. But I don't care if it has cats. Number two, what people need to understand, or number four I'm on already, General Motors eliminated the EGR valve. It was old technology. It was old smog technology for the older carbureted engines. And for some reason, the EPA made them adopt it and keep it. And all it is really an air circulation device. But if you unplug your EGR valve on a VORTEK engine, okay, and I don't call them LS engines because they're not fucking LS engines, okay, that was Leslie Snoblovsky. She designed the LS, the luxury, basically the luxury sport truck. It was synonymous with her name, Leslie Snoblovsky, and that. I've explained that in other videos, because I have idiots that come in here and it doesn't say it's an LS part. Well, then go to eBay and the chinks will put LS on the part and you can have the chink part. You don't need my shit. Get out of here. Beat it, I tell them. So basically that's what happens, is those engines are so close and so identical. And the newer stuff, they're still the same engine, but they have a different intake on them. They have no EGR. Okay? Am I going to try and risk putting a computer from a later model truck in? I might as well go have the fucking thing reflashed. Basically, maybe that's, you know, they're not going to work on it out of the dealership and reflash it for me, because if there's a VORTEK engine in a Ford truck, they're going to do this to me. So that's why they're selling these Chinese tuners. Now HP's coming in, because basically the U.S. government can't reach HP. They really don't have U.S.-based customer support. They really don't have a brick-and-mortar place here to take out of action. That HP tuner is being built in China, so you're relying on that great Chinese quality again. So I can see HP tuners, they're going to do good for a while, selling them at $1,400, $1,500, $2,500, $3,000 a pop. They're going to do fairly good, but they're going to get the weenie too. You're going to get the Chi-Com weenie. they're going to want you to buy something else a year or two later for $1,500, $2,000, $3,000. That's just the way this shit's going. Just like what they did to me with this. Okay? The EPA, the U.S. government can reach. They can reach Summit Racing. They can reach Holley. They have brick and mortar risk stores here. It's not fair. Because for the government to dictate all this bullshit, you and I know those fuel-injected engines burn cleaner and run more fuel efficient than anything that's been built so far. Come out with the next generation. You're not going to get rid of the internal combustion engine. And as I tell people, just like Scotty Kilmer exhibited, I like some of his videos now that he got his head out of AutoZone's, between AutoZone's cheeks, so to speak. But he's made some good points about these battery-operated cars. In a climate like this, when you discharge an ion lithium battery or even let it set out in below zero temperatures, you are nuts if you buy one of those electric cars. So I hope you enjoyed my automatic squirrel deterrent there and my little expansion tank project there. It's all things that you can do for yourself, especially when you're having a hard winter and money's limited. I'm cleaning things up here. I'm actually storing stuff that I really don't have a regular use for it, but it's been underneath my feet here, and that's why shit's falling all over the floor. I got a table stacked up here with stuff because it's got to go away in places, and I have to enter it into inventory on my inventory sheets. But in between that, I'm going to tell you to stop buying the Holley products. At this point, you're going to end up with being reliant on some kind of bandit who's going to charge you whatever extorted price to write a program, and if you buy one of those programs from one of those outlaw companies, that could have some consequences to your vehicle a year down the road. Okay, there could be a backdoor trigger in there to destroy your engine. You watch what you buy from these guys, these computer gurus. Just a piece of advice, because I've had it happen. You can also take your vehicle somewhere and say you have to have it worked on, and they got to put it on a scanner, and they realize your vehicle's altered, and they pick up the program, because you can detect that, how many times somebody's been in your computer or if it's altered, and they decide to slip you to self-destruct sequence in that engine. You people, you don't let anybody lift that hood or go into that computer without you standing over their shoulder, especially when you have something built with thousands of dollars in it. That's just the way it is. It's the kind of world we're living in. But I'm a little bit smarter than most people, because a lot of places, well, you can't be in the bay. When you're working on my fucking truck, that's my vehicle, that's my money, that's my safety. Yeah, I'm going to be right there. If not, pull it out. I'll have it inspected somewhere else, because a lot of that occurs during safety inspection. Up here in Pennsylvania, they want to enter your computers, check your emission stand. Bullshit. You don't plug into that truck. The check engine light's off. You don't touch my truck. That's just the way Uncle Dutch is. That's my truck, not your truck. You're not going to tell me how it's supposed to run. I have it. I'll tell you how something's supposed to run, because I'm the guy that plays with this shit. And that nonsense, like I said, from Holley, you don't touch my truck. I want what I want, and I don't want the self-destruct sequence being programmed into this stuff. So watch those outlaw vendors and those Chinese vendors like HP Tune. You guys don't know what you're getting into. Like I said, you might be putting a bomb underneath your ass on four wheels without even knowing it. So just watch what you're doing. Hope you liked my video, and it wasn't that short, but it explains a lot about what's going on with companies like Diablo turns into Diablo, and all of a sudden Lou blows anyway. Well, Lou Eaton, you fucking blow. You're a creep. Especially that essay you wrote me. I write you a nice letter, hey, I'm building a truck, it's off-road use, and he goes off the deep end about the EPA. I could give a shit less about the EPA. Biden, Nancy Pelosi, they can all kiss my balls. This fraud that's going on right now in the United States, those people, they belong in a prison cell. Every goddamn one of them. Watch these tricks with China. Now, going into Taiwan. When old Pooter blows that whistle and those guys go rushing into Ukraine, this is going to be World War III. Brought to you by Joe Biden and the Democrats. We don't know where to turn next in this country, at least not me, and I have no advice on it. But I know there's dirty bastards in there. Trump needs to come back like tomorrow night. So, have a good one, guys. Enjoy my video.